Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of BTTH Rebirth of Emperor Yang episode number 313 based on novel. So let's start. The roar of thunder suddenly sounded. At this time, it was suspended in front of Xiao Feng and on the rapidly rotating spear. A solid blue dragon was entrenched on it. When the cry fell in its mouth, it suddenly erupted into a vast blue light, like a mountain torrent and tsunami, a hurricane that rolled up the world. At the moment when the overwhelming blue light swept out, the hurricane between heaven and earth suddenly turned and solidified like a real dragon. The blue-winged dragon roared up to the sky. Suddenly, a terrible suction burst out, crazy swallowing the energy of heaven and earth between heaven and earth. The gun body burst, and the giant dragon also swept out. It cut through the void like lightning and directed at Xiao Yang in the distance. The surrounding void collapses, and the vast power is like the startling waves beating the shore stones. It's really scary. Xiao Feng's all-out strike is really terrible. In the face of such a majestic momentum on the field, all the people on the stand turned pale. RAO was based on the strength of Xiao Lei. At this time, a deep and dignified color also appeared on his face. I'm afraid it wouldn't be easy for him to face this blow. Xiao Feng's cultivation of the thousand-wind gang sho is to the extreme. I'm afraid the power of this fighting skill is far from what ordinary fighting skills can achieve. To be a son of the world, of course, he should have his proud capital. On the elders' table, Xiao Mingyuan blurted out his words. On one side, the silent elder finally showed a look of appreciation on his face and said slowly, "As a son of the world, Xiao Feng is extremely outstanding in both cultivation talent and human nature. He absolutely believes that in this regard, among the Xiao family in the past, there was no one of the Xiao family's children of the same generation. However, with the participation of Xiao Yang, this point has finally changed. At the same time, Xiao Feng himself has also changed. In recent years, Xiao Yang is the first person who can make Xiao Feng exert his best in the clan meeting." Hiss. When the dragon came down, Xiao Yang on the ground waved the giant ruler one after another. The startling ruler orn suddenly burst the remaining invisible palms. When Xiao Yang looked up, he saw the dragon overlooking everything, a long gun, wrapped with a powerful momentum of looking up at everything, and rush. In a pair of dark eyes, at this time, he was almost shrouded by the overwhelming blue vigorous wind. Standing under the dragon, Xiao Yang could more intuitively feel the terrible and fierce attack contained in the front of the gun. But even so, Xiao Yang still holds absolute self-confidence in his heart. Even if the dragon is so strong, it will be inferior to him. With this in mind, Xiao Yang rushed forward in full view of the public while the previous ruler had not dispersed. Then, the huge ruler in his hand was heavily inserted on the ground, and the ruler body was deeply inserted under the ground. With a low violent drink from Xiao Yang's mouth, he held the ruler handle tightly with both hands. His face was crazy, and the flame rendered on the ruler body suddenly soared, melt the surrounding ground quickly. Drink. As soon as the palm of your hand pulls out, the earth under your feet is easily broken like the water. At the moment when the foot-orn bursts out, the magma flies and rushes straight into the sky. A foot-orn leaps out of the sky, mixed with magma, fuses the void and rushes up with the momentum of breaking bamboo. "Break it for me." In the void, Xiao Feng's towering cry suddenly sounded, the spear blade turned rapidly, and the dragon fell from the sky with bursts of roar. In the twinkling of an eye, it collided with that huge dark red ruler and mang, buzz. Under the gaze of countless eyes, the heaven and earth trembled, and the buzzing sound swept away. When everyone's face changed, the startled Kai Mang in the sky suddenly shook violently. Without waiting for everyone to move, Xiao Yang solemnly waved the giant ruler again on the ground until he waved it for the 9th time, and then integrated into it. The situation in the sky was temporarily stable. On the stand, eyes filled with tension looked at the two huge energy groups that were emitting violent energy fluctuations in the air that day, and their hearts were also vaguely uneasy. At this moment, everyone present was sweating for the battle between the two in the field. On the elders' table, Xiao Mingyuan frowned tightly, his old eyes stared at Xiao Yang on the field, and his breath couldn't help but be a little short. Xiao Yuheng beside him also had expectations. Even Xiao Jinghong's palm was slowly clenched at this time, and whispered in his heart, "Little guy, don't lose." Throughout today's game, only looking forward to Xiao Yang's defeat, I'm afraid Xiao Dingtian is the only one. The elder Xiao Zhen frowned slightly and looked at the two vast energies that were colliding fiercely on the field. A moment later, he seemed to notice something. He bent his fingers and flicked, and a slight streamer immediately burst out. "Sink into the void in front of you." At the same time, Xiao Yang, with a dignified face in the field, also inserted the mysterious heavy ruler in his hand into the ground beside him, gently breathed out a breath, and a severe color gradually appeared on his face. His mind moved, and the only source gas left in his body was mobilized wildly at the moment. However, at the moment when the two had just moved, the magnificent Kai Mang in the sky, which was competing with the dragon, suddenly exploded in the next moment, and an unusually violent energy immediately filled the sky. Then, the amazing energy storm spread rapidly. Even though it was far away, the people present could still clearly feel the horror. Once this energy storm swept through, they were affected. I'm afraid few people could survive in this situation. Dang! At the critical moment, a huge energy barrier suddenly condenses over the huge fighting field, enveloping the whole fighting field like a sea bowl. No matter how powerful the swept energy afterwaves are, they have never shaken it. Seeing this scene, the people in the stands were driven to the panic of their voices, which enabled them to turn around. Pooh! After being hit so hard by the energy afterwave, Xiao Yang's chest suddenly sank. A mouthful of blood gushed out of his mouth. The soles of his feet couldn't help retreating half a step back and clenching his teeth. Only then could he stabilize his body. Looking up, Xiao Feng was no better than him at this time. His face was as white as paper, and his expression was still as crazy and hot as before. The battle was hearty. The Kai Mang was broken and the wind dragon dispersed, but the remaining power on the long gun was still strong. Now there was no obstacle, and it rushed towards Xiao Yang again with an overwhelming victory. At this time, Xiao Yang's face was white, and his mouth slowly raised a smile. At the same time, his eyes were also filled with a fierce look like a beast. Staring at the long gun shot like a star arrow, Xiao Yang slowly raised his hands and sacrificed with the last seal. At this moment, between his hands, a fingerprint containing vigorous energy was formed. Mountain River Seal. With a low cry in his heart, Xiao Yang pushed his hands forward, and the fingerprints between his palms immediately shot away at the rapidly falling spear in the sky to meet the storm. In a twinkling of an eye, they turned into a huge fingerprint of tens of feet. The purple flame condensed on it, and the rugged momentum made people feel an inexplicable sense of heaviness. Is this the 8 decisions of the ancient family? How could it be in Xiao Yang's hand? At that moment, the two brothers Xiao Lei in the stand and the elders in the elders' table all turned their surprised eyes to Xiao Yang, who showed his mountain and river seal in the field, and their hearts felt a burst of incomprehension for this. I said long ago that this son has a different heart and must not stay. Until now, you should believe it. Xiao Dingtian, on the contrary, was not angry when he saw such a scene in the field. Instead, he showed a look on his face. He glanced at Xiao Mingyuan and others with a high eyebrow and sneered. You can't just look at the appearance. Xiao Yang has long said that he once saw the people of the Zhao family take action against the Ouyang family. Maybe he took action to save people at that time. It happens that it's not necessarily for people of the ancient family. If you take the return of others as an evil intention, it's a bit of a woman's heart. In the face of Xiao Dingtian's sneer, Xiao Mingyuan and others were at a loss, although they had some difficulties. At the critical moment, the elder blocked it back with a word. The latter took back his eyes reluctantly. Emperor Seal 8 decisions. Today, let me see the arrogance of this ancient family secret skill. He looked at the field again. With the exertion of Xiao Yang's mountain and river seal, Xiao Feng's face finally turned into dignified. Naturally, he had heard of the reputation of this fighting skill. Now he dared not be careless. There was no hesitation. When he whispered, he stepped forward and stepped out heavily, vigorously urged the few source qi in the body and mobilized them all. Then, on the falling spear, the cyan light also became a little rich. On the ground below, Xiao Yang's face was unusually quiet. He also had a lot of feelings about the mountain and river seal during his cultivation. The 6 seals before the Inca were interlinked, and their power was comparable to the advanced fighting skills of the Italian level. I believe that even in the heyday of Xiao Feng, he didn't dare to be careless. At this time, after taking action again, the victory is determined. Of course, it's good for Xiao Yang to show his seal of mountains and rivers at this time, on the one hand, to win, but more importantly, he also hopes to take this opportunity to test and see how he controls the 8 decisions of Emperor Seal. The spear broke through the air and stabbed Xiao Yang below like a meteor. The flame fingerprints rose against the storm, like a flag of fire across the void, which severely twisted the burning of the invisible world around. Then, they collided with the spear front. Bang! The thunderous roar suddenly rang through, and the energy ripples swept through again. The 2 energies constantly eroded each other in the void. At the contact between the 2, the invisible void was extremely distorted, and finally burst. This time, under the strong suppression of the handprint, the long gun finally trembled uncontrollably, even with the strong support of Xiao Feng, but after some previous consumption, in the face of Xiao Yang's attack again, the feeling of powerlessness also seemed particularly clear. On the battle platform, the stalemate between the 2 sides lasted only a few breaths. Then, under the eyes of the people, there was a clear sound of explosion on the front of the long gun that collided with the handprint. Then the next moment, it was a bang and burst. Pooh! Xiao Feng's face turned white, his steps retreated again and again, a blood gushed out of his mouth, and the whole person's momentum was finally completely depressed. At this point, this war is a complete result. However, what's going on? In the field, Xiao Yang's face suddenly changed. His mind fully controlled the huge fingerprints that continued to blast forward, and a look of surprise could not help but appear on his face. Sure enough, it's still too reluctantly. Even at this time, Xiao Yang has tried his best to control the fingerprints that continue to blow forward, but the latter is unmoved and continues to burst out. Damn it! Stop it! In his heart, Xiao Yang's teeth bit the tip of his tongue, and a stream of blood flew out. His fingertips then pointed on it, and his heart moved. At the same time, an invisible energy ripple also spread along the invisible void. Buzzing. In the void, while the huge handprint stopped, in the hall somewhere within the Xiao family, inside a crystal ball with a thorough body, a colorful light flashed away. At the same time, seeing Xiao Yang, whose mountain and river seal finally stopped in the field, the nervous mood on his face gradually disappeared. He gently breathed out a breath, moved his mind, and hurried to disperse the terrible thing. On the elders' table, a crowd looked at the situation in the field. Many people in the audience looked a little complicated until Xiao Mingyuan strode forward with a smile and raised his head and said, "This battle, Xiao Yangsheng." Wow! A word fell. In the huge fighting field, the faces of the people present first stagnated, and the atmosphere in the field solidified for a moment. Then the next moment, there was a sudden uproar. In the fighting field, Xiao Yang and Xiao Feng looked at each other from a distance. They didn't have too much emotion because of the so-called victory or defeat. They were in the light, it was still as hot as before. On the stand, Xiao Xian ignored the cheering people around him. He moved and appeared in the arena in the blink of an eye, holding Xiao Yang, who was about to fall. This battle is not really full of strength, but the fierce fight in it is unprecedented in any battle in the past. Fist to flesh, tiger to tiger, 2 strong men at the same level can make this battle as exciting as any previous one, or even better, with their excellent fighting skills. What's more, the power of the mountain and river seal finally displayed by Xiao Yang can be called terror. If it is not finally taken back, I'm afraid Xiao Feng will suffer a heavy blow even if he doesn't die. At the end of the First World War, the 2 people on the field ran out of oil and lights. They were unable to continue standing on the stage, so they had to be brought back by others. The rest naturally fell on the elders on the stage, of which Xiao Dingtian was the most depressed. Somewhere on the high platform, Xiao Shaojun and the hot Xiao Siyu looked at the situation on the court until Xiao Yang was carried off, and the latter said faintly, "If I remember well, Xiao Lei once said that Xiao Yang's last fighting skill in the war with their brothers was like a strange flame of a lotus flower." He didn't use that move today. Hehe, everyone has his own cards. Before the time of life and death, who will show his real strength in front of others? However, after you say so, I'm more and more curious about him. Even you can't get the recognition of fire and candle, but I'll follow him in the end. Xiao Xiaojun turned to look at the woman and smiled. Hearing the speech, Xiao Xiu couldn't help cutting the person in front of her, immediately turned her eyebrows and slowly said, I'm also curious, but I'd better wait and see you sooner or later. With the end of the clan meeting, all the family children who participated in the clan meeting withdrew. However, in the next few days, the whole Xiao family was still immersed in the deep shock brought by the amazing battle, so that even though the meeting had ended, the four parts of the family could still hear bursts of fierce discussions. Naturally, Xiao Yang's appearance and the battle with Xiao Feng are the most eye-catching. Everyone is interested in talking about it. When many people mention Xiao Yang's name, they can't help but show a shocking look on their faces. Who would have thought that Xiao Yang, a foreigner who was not tolerated by the whole Xiao family half a year ago, could now show his amazing strength that made all the descendants of the Xiao family ashamed. Now, people in the family who had opposed Xiao Dingtian and other people in the past have changed their views after this incident. It was just after this, within a few days, there was an endless stream of footsteps in the other garden where Xiao Yang was located. All elders and deacons of the family, regardless of their identity, crowded into the other garden in order to meet Xiao Yang. Even Xiao Xian failed to completely stop these guys. Fortunately, Xiao Xiaojun finally came forward. Only then did they stop the situation, but even so, they still insisted on bearing it according to the table, hoping Xiao Yang could come forward and see it. A large group of people blocked in the front yard thanked one by one. Xiao Xuanli stood in front of the door and looked at the list of various identities in his hand. He couldn't help but sigh. He was lazy by nature and didn't want to be in charge of any complicated things, but now he had to stand in front of Xiao Yang. Hehe, among the Xiao family, I haven't seen such a situation for a long time. It seems that this time, they really affirm the existence of Xiao Yang. Seeing the crowd retreat, Xiao Xiaojun smiled and said with some emotion. Hearing the speech, Xiao Xian's eyelids were slightly low and smiled, but he was too lazy to say more. The reason was that everyone knew in their hearts, so there was no need to say more. The young clan leader is not the same as them. Did he come to see Xiao Yang? Close the door. Xiao Xian's way is long. Hehe, I've never liked to take that ordinary road. I'm here to see you. By the way, I'll personally give Xiao Yang the reward for the champion of the clan association. Xiao Xiaojun smiled cunningly, but at the end of his words, there was some deliberate taste. When the former heard the speech, they smiled face to face and then walked towards the depths of the other garden together. While all kinds of rumors from the outside world are spreading, Xiao Yang is quiet on the bed in the bedroom, his breath is restrained. In the surrounding void, strands of heaven and earth energy are constantly gathering and being refined and absorbed with the operation of his internal skills. In the battle with Xiao Feng that day, Xiao Yang finally displayed the mountain and river seal, which forced him to the situation of running out of oil and light, so that he lay in a coma for 2 days after the war. Fortunately, after that, Xiao Yang immediately found that his cultivation showed signs of growth and did not dare to say a significant improvement, but it is also enough to give it a chance to impact the middle of Samsung Yuanzong. Buzz. At a certain moment, Xiao Yang's body in the process of cultivation suddenly trembled slightly, and the energy condensed in the space around him suddenly stagnated slightly. Then he was frantically torn into his body by a sudden surge of fierce suction. Coupled with the crazy refining of different fire, after a short clip, a strong breath suddenly gushed out of Xiao Yang's eyes. With the rising of breath, in an instant, it has surpassed the breath of Xiao Yang's peak. Although this change only took a few breaths, it is also a surprise. Who? When the rising breath stopped, while Xiao Yang breathed out in one breath, an energy ripple suddenly spread out from his body, smashing all the surrounding furniture, and even the whole room could not help trembling. What's going on? At the same time, there was a sudden exclamation in the courtyard outside the door. The next moment, when the closed door was opened, Xiao Xianwei frowned and appeared in the bedroom. However, he looked at the mess in front of the house and looked at Xiao Yang, who smiled on his face on the bed. He couldn't help glancing and said, In the future, you'd better go to the cultivation room to save the waste of these furniture. In this regard, Xiao Yan just grinned. The moment he took back his eyes, he saw the figure who swaggered into the door. For a moment, Xiao Yan's heart suddenly tightened, his hair suddenly stood up, and a dangerous breath climbed to his heart involuntarily. Hihi, cousin Xiao Yang really has amazing talent. He broke through Sangxingyuanzong only a few months ago. It's really gratifying to be promoted after such a quick repair. Without paying attention to Xiao Yang's tense face, Xiao Shaojun smiled and hugged the former politely. Are you Xiao Shaojun? Hearing the latter words, Xiao Yang tightened his eyebrows and eyes, got up and fell to the ground, stared at this rather strong figure and said in a condensed voice. Although it is impossible to fully know the depth of this guy's breath, Xiao Yang can also clearly judge that his cultivation is definitely the strongest among all the descendants of the Xiao family he has seen. Even people as strong as Xiao Lei and Xiao Feng can't compare with it. As far as he knows, there is only one such person in the whole Xiao family. 7-star source sect, Xiao Shaojun. Exactly. I'm Xiao Shaojun. If my cousin doesn't dislike it, you can also call me cousin. In the future, it's better to contact feelings in the family. Xiao Shaojun smiled genially. His face was harmless to people and animals. Compared with his amazing cultivation, his attitude was much more modest. Hearing this, Xiao Yang couldn't help but slightly pick up his eyebrows. The blood relationship that 8 poles couldn't hit was why he said so, but he looked at Xiao Xian who didn't want to talk to him and paused a little. Then he said in a calm voice, "What are you doing here? My cousin won the championship of the clan association. As a young clan leader and cousin, I naturally come to congratulate." Xiao Shaojun said with a smile. When the voice fell, he waved a ring and shot at Xiao Yanfei. "Here is a reward for the champion of the clan association. In addition, this is also for you." As soon as the word fell, Xiao Shaojun paused again, then turned his palm and took out a full-body milky white multi-prism crystal ball. Almost at the moment when the crystal ball was taken out, all the energy in the space where the 3 people were located suddenly and violently boiling uncontrollably. In the field, on the faces of Xiao Yang and Xiao Xian, the expression at the moment is also extremely wonderful. In the bedroom, Xiao Yang and Xiao Xian looked at the milky white crystal ball in Xiao Shaojuan's hand. The expressions on their faces were shocked. Looking back at the beginning, although I had heard of the existence of this thing, I was never lucky to see it. I didn't expect that it would appear in front of me like this. It's really like a dream. This is the best spirit stone. The faces of the grandparents and grandchildren solidified for a long time. After a good film was engraved, they couldn't help shouting and staring at the crystal ball in Xiao Shaojuan's hand. They were all full of horror. The best spiritual stone, known as the best resource above all cultivation resources, contains not only pure source gas, but also the huge number. Even the strong people who have reached the level of source respect will be moved by it. Unfortunately, I only have this one left in my hand. It's a reward for me to celebrate your winning the championship and improving your cultivation. Seeing the 2 people like this, Xiao Shaojun didn't make fun of anything, but handed it to Xiao Yang. When the latter took it over, he still couldn't believe it in his mind. These cultivation resources were handed over to him for nothing. However, Xiao Xian had to calm down a lot. He was shocked a little. He immediately regained his consciousness and dared not neglect it. He quickly thanked Xiao Shaojun. He naturally understood the weight of the best spirit stone. Even if he looked at the Xiao family, he didn't dare to say no, but it was impossible to take it as easily as he did. It doesn't matter. The world's treasures are available to those who can. Besides, cousin Xiao Yang's talent is so outstanding. I do this for the good of the family. As soon as this remark came out, Xiao Yang suddenly woke up a lot, but looking at the spirit stone in his hand, he couldn't help but take a deep breath when thinking about the huge family that wanted to split inside. He understood what Xiao Shaojun meant, but he knew more clearly that some gratitude and resentment could not be solved with a few words and a spirit stone. Xiao Yang accepted the kindness of the young clan leader, but, as I said, the world's treasures are available to those who can. Besides, My cousin should have been rewarded for such achievements and fame. If you want to say anything else, just let me say it casually. Before Xiao Yang could return the spirit stone in his hand, Xiao Shaojun stopped it with a warm face. Xiao Yang's words could not move him. Some beliefs can't be changed, but people can. That's the truth. Finally, Xiao Yang put away the spirit stone in his palm angrily and looked at the smile on Xiao Shaojun's face, but he was afraid in his heart. Hihi, that's good. The source gas contained in the best spirit stone is quite sufficient. With your cultivation, it's enough to help you break through 1 star. If you're lucky, you can break through 2 stars. With your talent, I think it's probably not difficult. Xiao Shaojun blurted out his words, and Xiao Yang immediately looked surprised. The name of the best spiritual stone is really true. It's surprising that even his cultivation can directly break through. No wonder the output of the best spiritual stone on the mainland will be extremely scarce. So it seems that you have used it. Xiao Xian's eyes flashed and said, Hehe, there were 3 of the best spirit stones at that time. Something went wrong in the middle of my cultivation, so I only broke through to the 7 stars. The other one was given to see you. This one in your hand is all I have. Hearing the temptation in Xiao Xian's words, Xiao Shaojun didn't hide anything. He spread his hand and said frankly. However, when Xiao Yang heard this, the sense of horror in their hearts was stronger. In this way, if it were not for the changes in their cultivation, they were afraid that Xiao Shaojun standing in front of them would only be stronger. This alone had to be shocking. A top-grade spirit stone can achieve such an effect. If it is swallowed and refined by it now, isn't his cultivation? Hihi, don't think about it. When I returned to the family this time, I meant to come for the family sacrifice. Therefore, this spirit stone has little significance to me. It's better to make the best use of everything than to keep it. Xiao Shaojun smiled faintly, but Xiao Yang immediately raised his eyebrows. He couldn't help staring at the former curiously and said curiously, Clan sacrifice? What's that? As soon as he said this, Xiao Shaojun was stunned. He couldn't help but be dumb, and his heart was full of secret stomach fei. This guy, Xiao Dingtian, is so against you. Don't you even know why? After looking at Xiao Xian on one side, he saw that the latter also looked angry. Then he nodded calmly and said slowly, Clan sacrifice is a major event among the younger generation of the family, in addition to the clan association, and it is also something that most future generations of the family will experience. Its participants must be the younger generation of the family who is promoted to Yuanzong by cultivation. Of course, some of the elders with older qualifications, but the elders of the family who have only Yuanzong by cultivation, will also select some to participate. Speaking of this, Xiao Shaojun couldn't help looking at Xiao Xian on one side. The latter nodded silently, obviously knowing something about it. The main purpose of clan sacrifice is to. At this point, just as Xiao Shaojun was about to explain the specific content of the family sacrifice, a burst of rapid footsteps suddenly sounded outside the door. Then, Liana's anxious drink suddenly rang through. No. White birch. Something's wrong. The words were amazing. The mood of Xiao Yang and Xiao Shaojun suddenly changed dramatically in the room. Xiao Shaojun was stunned again. The voice in his mouth suddenly stopped. When he came back, the 2 people beside him flashed out of the door and stared at Liana in front of the door. What's the matter? Isn't the birch still awake? Xiao Yang's face was extremely dignified. Since he heard the rapid footsteps just now, a sense of uneasiness rose in his heart, but the girl's words turned this emotion into reality. I woke up. I just woke up, but I don't know how. Suddenly, it changed again. If it weren't for the protection of the array, I'm afraid he would have rushed out. Liana's cheek at this time was full of red and nervous look. After hearing this, Xiao Yang's mood suddenly fell to the bottom of the valley, and the palm under the sleeve robe held it tightly involuntarily. What happened? At the moment, Xiao Shaojun looked confused, but the 3 people in the field had no time to explain. Xiao Yang looked at each other. At the moment of nodding, their body shape had disappeared in the courtyard. Only Xiao Shaojun was left. He looked at the girl in front of him suspiciously and hesitated for a moment. Then his body moved and hurried after Xiao Yang's breath. At the periphery of the courtyard blocked by a golden light, Xiao Yang and Xiao Xian looked at the half-black and half-white strange figure in the courtyard with dignified faces. They were all shocked by this. Unexpectedly, the white birch would change again. How can this happen? I've taken Yun Lingdan. It's reasonable to say that the origin of the two souls should be completely integrated. Has it failed? Xiao Xian frowned. He didn't believe it. Xiao Yang did it himself. It shouldn't be such a result. No, there is no failure. Just looking at his current breath, I'm afraid he has reached the 7-star source sect, which shows that there is no accident in the integration process. Xiao Yang shook his head slowly and stared at the white birch in the array. At this time, the latter's body was shaking rapidly. A wave of magnificent energy roared out of itself and constantly collided with the array cover. The buildings outside the array were shaking, but it could be seen that the latter was not only venting his violent emotions, but it is also trying to suppress the restless power in the body. This momentum, which obviously won't last long. Is he a birch? Xiao Shaojun, who came quickly from the rear, also paid attention to Bai Hua in the array. Seeing this scene, he was not too surprised. It was obvious that he had heard something about it. However, after he realized that the strong breath that erupted in Bai Hua was not inferior to himself, even more powerful, Rao was in his mind, I couldn't help but show a touch of surprise in my eyes. Well, at first, but it didn't take long to suddenly become like this. I can see that he seems to be trying to suppress something, but he still failed. When Liana arrived, Meimo eagerly looked at the white birch in the field. When she spoke, a cry gradually poured into her tone. Combined with the rather tense atmosphere in the field, the mood of several people became more and more depressed. Do you want to stop him? Seeing the girl's pity, Xiao Xian couldn't help holding her in his arms and hesitated a little. Then he asked Xiao Yang. The latter paused a little, but shook his head, stared at the white birch in the field, thought deeply and said, "Wait, I think it won't be long." Hearing the speech, Xiao Xian nodded. Xiao Shaojun, who was on the side, looked at Xiao Yang with great interest, glanced at the brothers who wanted to run away in the eye field, and nodded slightly undetectable. He could tolerate the changed white birch again and again, and even still have expectations in the current situation. This alone is what many people can't do. At least, if this situation fell on the rest of the Xiao family, for the sake of insurance, I'm afraid I would have been cruel to kill it long ago. Would it wait until now? What surprised Xiao Shaojun even more was that about a quarter of an hour after Xiao Yang's words fell, the struggling and crazy white birch in the courtyard really gradually calmed down, and the strands of black gas around him gradually dispersed. When he looked up and roared, all the black gas was absorbed into his body along the pores of his body. Half of his black body finally returned to normal. Until this moment, the white birch in the field seemed to collapse to the ground as if exhausted, sweating all over, and his body twitched uncontrollably. When he struggled to see Xiao Yang, he was black and fainted. A moment later, in a bedroom, Xiao Yang and others stood impressively. At this time, the latter, with a slightly dignified face, loosened Bai Hua's wrist. "How's it going?" At this moment, the girl was most anxious. When she saw Xiao Yang let go, she immediately came forward and asked. Xiao Xian and Xiao Shaojun beside him were silently looking at Xiao Yang, and their emotions were a little nervous. The origin of the two souls has indeed been successfully integrated, which is consistent with what I think, but... Before the three of them could breathe a sigh of relief, Xiao Yang followed the sidewalk. The problem lies in the two different forces. The two forces cannot blend. Once they collide, they may disperse his consciousness at any time, that is, what happened today may happen again at any time. As soon as she said this, Liana's hanging heart immediately fell to the bottom of the valley. Her delicate body was soft, and she almost fell. Xiao Yang's words have shown that the white birch that has been with her for many years may become a violent beast at any time. How can the girl bear this? Let's talk about it. What's the solution? Xiao Xian carefully helped Liana, and his tone was a little impatient. He knew Xiao Yang's temperament. If there was no solution, he wouldn't say it at will. Aside, Xiao Shaojun was thoughtful after hearing Xiao Yang's words, and the fingers under his sleeve robe tapped gently. Seeing Xiao Xian's appearance, Xiao Yang couldn't help but be stunned. Then he took a light breath. Then he said, "In this case, as far as I can see, there are only 3 solutions. Either the birch reconciles the 2 energies with her own strength, or seal cultivation." As soon as this remark came out, the faces of several people present changed slightly. They naturally knew what it meant to seal the cultivation accomplishments. Once the cultivation accomplishments were sealed, it indicated that they could not practice before unlocking the seal, and their current strength would not be improved anymore. It was a devastating blow in the middle region where the cultivation strength was changing with each passing day. "The third way?" asked Tiandan. This time, it was Xiao Yang and Xiao Shaojun who spoke in unison. Their eyes suddenly converged in one place. Unexpectedly, they could have such a tacit understanding. "I didn't expect to coincide with cousin Xiao Yang. It's really my honor." Xiao Shaojun smiled and said, "I've only heard of names." Looking at Xiao Shaojun with a smile in front of him, Xiao Yang was slightly surprised. Obviously, this guy had expected. "Oh, I see. Wentian pill is ranked in the 8th level. It is said that this pill can not only enhance strength, but also recover the injury. Life and death are human flesh and bones. It is just a body. Wentian pill can even repair the soul trauma. As long as the residual soul still exists, there will be a glimmer of vitality. It is not too much to say that it has the effect of changing life against the sky. However, this pill is unique to the Dantar and unparalleled in the world." As soon as the word fell, Liana's pretty face, who had just raised hope in her heart, turned white. Even though she knew little about Zhongyu, she also understood the weight of Dantar. If she wanted to get this Ask Heaven pill, she was afraid that there was little hope. "As far as I know, so far, the ancestor of Dantar has presented 3 pills, one of which is Ouyang's Ouyang Yu. Orchid Sword Saint." Xiao Yang raised his eyebrows, but he didn't expect that the latter could reach such a point. "And the other one?" Brother Xiao Yang might as well guess. Xiao Shaojun squinted and smiled at Xiao Yang. His meaning was quite ridiculed. Hearing the speech, the latter was slightly stunned and looked at the person in front of him. Seeing the look on the former's face, he was a little unbelievable in his heart. After thinking for a long time, he was suspicious and said, "Is it in my Xiao family?" "Yes, this second one is in the hands of the 2 elders." Xiao Shaojun smiled. Xiao Yang's eyes suddenly solidified. When he was neutral in his mind, he came up with the huge black tower in Shuyang City and said in surprise, "Xiao Yitian. Don't call names." Xiao Shaojun lowered his voice slightly. The latter nodded quickly and then asked, "Is this third one in the hands of the Bai family?" "They are not qualified yet." As soon as he said this, Xiao Shaojun smiled contemptuously and said, "Although the 3 clans have the same name in the central region, Ouyang family is the most powerful among them. Although our Xiao family is not better than Ouyang family, it is an ancient family after all, and the inside information still exists. As for the Bai family, it is only a force killed from the 3rd-rate family at most." Although these words are understated, it is not hard to hear the pride in them. However, this also makes Xiao Yang's curiosity more intense. If it is not the Bai family, what kind of strong people can make the ancestor of Dantar give pills? As for the destination of the 3rd pill, I don't know very well. I only know that it was given to a strange woman who was once famous in the epicenter, but as for who, it has a long history. I'm afraid there are few people who know. When Xiao Shaojun left and stood in the courtyard, Xiao Yang thought about what he had said before again. "Ask Tiandan. One is missing and the other is in Ouyang's house. Even the one closest to him is the most likely one. It's also in the hands of Xiao Yitian, the 2nd elder of the family. Unfortunately, Xiao Yitian is closing the door. In this way, I'm afraid there's little chance to get this question pill. This kind of thing can't be urgent. It's better to find an opportunity to ask the elder first. Maybe he can contact the 2 elders." Behind him, Xiao Xian came slowly from the porch. His wise eyes seemed to see what Xiao Yang thought, smiled and comforted. The latter had no choice but to shake his head when he heard the speech. Now he can only put aside the matter of Tiandan. It is the family sacrifice mentioned by Xiao Shaojun before that worries Xiao Yang. The grand event comparable to the clan meeting is better than the Yuanzong. It can only meet the qualification to participate. The conditions are so harsh. What is the content of this clan sacrifice? Ancestor, do you know what the clan sacrifice is? Xiao Yang turned around and looked at Xiao Xian sitting back at the stone table. He asked curiously. Hearing the speech, Xiao Xian paused a little, took a sip from his teacup and said with a smile. I haven't seen the process with my own eyes, so I don't know the specific content of ethnic sacrifice. I only know that the holding of ethnic sacrifice is to stimulate the power of blood. Stimulate the power of blood? Xiao Yang raised his eyebrows. He still remained at the level of fighting Emperor's blood for his understanding of the power of blood. However, with the gradual improvement of cultivation in recent years, the growth of his strength brought by the power of blood has become thinner and thinner, so that Xiao Yang has rarely used the power of blood now, but he didn't expect that there would be such a means among the Xiao family. While Xiao Yang was taking care of himself and meditating, in front of the door, a white birch with a pale face walked out slowly with the help of Liana. Are you okay? Seeing the white birch, Xiao Yang immediately pulled back his thoughts. Xiao Xian on one side got up and came forward with an easygoing face. Let you worry. Bai Hua shook her head weakly, while Xiao Yang backhanded took out several pills and handed them to him. After he took them, he accompanied him to sit at the stone table. I know everything. I know what's wrong with my body. I didn't expect that the fortune pill would cause such a result. I was careless at the beginning. Recalling what happened these days, Bai Hua couldn't help feeling remorse. If it weren't for him, Xiao Yang wouldn't have had more trouble. Xiao Yang shook his head unnecessarily and said with a smile. It doesn't matter. Some troubles can't be avoided. It's just a change of form. Just take care of yourself and leave the rest to us. On one side, Xiao Xian smiled and nodded. Lian Erhan brought a touching smile on her bitter cheek, and the jade hand stroked the back of the white birch to appease her. Seeing the three people in front of her, Birch felt warm and didn't say any more polite words. After a little meditation, she nodded heavily. In the following days, the family situation calmed down a lot. The family meeting ended, and Xiao Dingtian didn't come to the door again. All the family elders who came to visit were rejected by Xiao Xian one by one. This period of time was the most leisurely and stable moment for Xiao Yang since he entered the Xiao family. All the troubles seemed to dissipate with the end of the clan association. In the twinkling of an eye, half a month has passed. In front of Xiao Yang's door, there are two familiar figures again. Xiao Lei and Xiao Zhuobin. Congratulations, no wonder it's gone these days. It's a closed-door breakthrough. In the living room, Xiao Yang smiled and looked at the two brothers in front of him. He hadn't seen them for days. Xiao Zhuobin's cultivation has also broken through the five-star source sect. It's natural to break through. Xiao Zhuobin smiled faintly, but his eyes showed a trace of joy. It was obvious that he had been looking forward to this breakthrough for a long time. On the contrary, Xiao Lei was already familiar with this guy's temperament, made a simple joke, took the teacup handed over by Liana, looked at the beautiful girl in front of him, and then said in a positive way, "We didn't come here today to make fun of you." As soon as he said this, Xiao Yang raised his eyes slightly and was surprised. Xiao Lei sipped the fragrant tea and then said, "The list of people participating in the clan sacrifice has been listed. We're looking for you to go to the ancestral temple." Hearing the word clan sacrifice, Xiao Yang suddenly felt waves on his face. After waiting patiently these days, he finally ushered in the mysterious clan sacrifice. Also at this time, a figure suddenly stepped in front of the living room door. The three looked at it immediately, but they saw Xiao Xian and Xiao Mingyuan coming together. When the latter saw Xiao Lei and Xiao Zhuobin in front of him, he immediately understood it, laughed a little surprised, and then looked at Xiao Yang and said, "Hey, it seems that I'm late. Your boy already knows." "No, we have just arrived." Seeing the visitor, Xiao Lei and his brother dared not neglect him. They quickly got up and smiled. Xiao Yang nodded with a smile and smiled at Xiao Xian. Then he got up and joked at Xiao Mingyuan. Why should even the 3 elders participate in the clan sacrifice? I'm not interested in children's tricks. I just don't want Xiao Dingtian to make any more moths on such things. I don't trust you. I'm going to follow you. Xiao Mingyuan tilted his lips and forgot that Xiao Dingtian's grandson was still standing in front of him. Xiao Yang looked at Xiao Lei beside him. The latter was just an indifferent smile. He shrugged his shoulders in tacit agreement with Xiao Zhuobin and didn't say much. Although elder Xiao Dingtian made things difficult at the clan meeting, he still didn't point his finger at it. Besides, the clan sacrifice is a big matter, so there should be nothing wrong. After a little meditation, Xiao Yang said slowly, I hope so, but the old stubborn is very considerate of the blood quality of your grandparents and grandchildren. He can't intervene too much at the family meeting. If he does it this time, I'm afraid it won't be so easy. Xiao Mingyuan took a deep breath and said in a deep voice. Hearing the speech, Xiao Yang immediately raised his eyebrows, frowned, stared at the old man in front of him, and said in surprise. Our blood quality? What does this have to do with him? Well, I can't explain to you now. I'd better go to the ancestral temple first. You'll understand when you get there. Xiao Mingyuan replied vaguely for a long time. Xiao Lei and Xiao Zhuobin looked at each other and thought deeply. At present, Xiao Yang was the only one covered with fog. He didn't understand what Xiao Mingyuan meant. He was calm for a long time. Then he said in a deep voice. Then go to the ancestral temple. This video will end here.